Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual college exploration for all Ohio students. We're so excited to have you all here this morning. We have a wonderful college representative here to share a little bit more about what she does. But before we rock and roll, I do want to make sure that you understand the format and how to ask questions. And so we have 45 minutes. If you have any questions, you can go ahead to this Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. That is the easiest way for you to interact with our college representative today. A reminder that your camera and microphone are off and they will remain off for the full session. And so really make sure to take advantage of that Q&A. Another reminder that there are additional sessions that are happening in the coming days and weeks through OACAC, and you can sign up for those at www.oacac.org. And at that very same link, you'll be able to find a recording for this session as soon as tomorrow. So feel free, if you need to circle back to any of this information, to check it out at www.oacac.org. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started with our session.
Okay, thanks, Isabella. My name is Laura Kavanaugh, and I'm an admissions counselor at College for Creative Studies in Detroit, Michigan. And today I'm going to talk, of course, about our school, but I'm going to share with you some examples of what alumni are doing in their respective fields, as well as offer a brief overview of the campus itself, and then dive into the majors. We have 11 majors in the visual arts. So I'm going to go ahead here and share my screen. Right. And beginning first with alumni. And I'm going to also turn off my video so that you all can focus on the content of the presentation. So there are only 6 Batmobiles in the history of film, and CCS alums have designed 2 of those. Creative concept artist and designer Tim Flattery, who is also department chair of entertainment arts at CCS, has worked with leading film directors such as Steven Spielberg and Tim Burton on more than 40 films in his 30-plus year career. He has supervised full-size construction of the Batmobile for Batman Forever and the Fantastic Car for Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. His film credits also include Men in Black 1 and 2, Hunger Games, Pirates of the Caribbean, RoboCop, Terminator Salvation, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. The list goes on. So really extensive list of film credits to his name. And I'll share a quick video here of Tim talking about his work on the Batmobile.
Why is the Batmobile so important? Because it's an icon. It's its own character in each movie. It's become so iconic because of all the things it's capable of doing and how it supports Batman and his cause.
Out of all the superheroes, Batman is the most plausible. I think this warrants the car be made physically and brought into this reality and not CG.
There's a lot of challenges to designing something that's so familiar that so many people have so many opinions about and what it should be.
We noticed that the car had to be actually freakishly larger than an average car for presence.
That's every designer's dream, to do a Batmobile. I mean, there's only 6 Batmobiles out there, and I'm part of one of them. That's pretty cool.
Great. So next is Sarah Bromley, who came to CCS from South Africa as an art practice major in 2010, but changed majors after watching a professor doing some CGI work on a screen. Sarah now works in Detroit at Armstrong White as a CG artist, but prior to that, she worked in London as a build technical director for Double Negative Visual FX. And what a build director or a build artist does is they design those elements of a film that either don't exist in reality or are just cost prohibitive to the film. The first film Sarah worked on was DC Films' Justice League in 2017. And more recently, she worked on the global blockbuster Black Panther. Nabeela Najjar is a costume and fashion designer who studied fiber and textiles in our craft and material studies department. Her work is inspired by dreams and has a heavy emphasis on nature. Her work has been seen in galleries, event spaces, window displays, music videos, and catwalks. Most recently, however, she created a fashion-inspired installation as a featured artist for the Design in the City competition. And this is a competition for emerging Detroit fashion and accessories designers sponsored by Gucci. So quite the accomplishment to have participated in this as a featured artist. When Chris Houghton first left CCS, he worked as a freelance cartoonist and animator, as well as storyboard director at Nickelodeon and Disney. He's worked on series like Gravity Falls, Harvey Beaks, Kirby Buckets, and now he's doing the same for his own animated kids series, Big City Greens. This aired on the Disney Channel a couple years ago and was picked up for a second season. And I'm going to show just a little bit of this next video. For the sake of time, I won't show it all, but it's a really cool glimpse into Chris's life and what he's doing in his career.
I've got a hair emergency!
Yeah, that's great. Let's do line 62 and give me some real stank on it, you know? Get that real full confidence.
I may not have the topping you all know and love, but I am full of the same kapowie jelly I've always had. Cut me open and it'll all flow out!
Yeah, that's great.
Working on Big City Greens is just surreal. You know, my brother and I created the show, and we get to go into work every day and work with this amazing team that we've assembled and really try to do everything in our power to make funny cartoons. It's pretty amazing to see this show grow from being sketches in my sketchbook and ideas that Shane and I would pitch back to each other. You know, it's finally become something huge. We always wanted to create something that was bigger than ourselves, and at Disney we've been able to do that.
Y'all better get used to this view, because this little country boy just got cast for a big city commercial. And it's all because I got kapowie.
Kapowie? Better put some ointment on that.
So yeah, I work with my brother every day, and we're kind of tied at the hip. And then my wife is also our show's color supervisor. So it's a real family affair. My wife and I met at CCS and got married right after school.
I actually started working on the pilot and development of Big City Greens with my husband Chris and his brother Shane. What I love most about working on Big City Greens is, I guess, creating a world, a whole city, painting it and coloring it. I like how the city is created of many different cities, so there's not really one city you can say it is.
I really like voicing Cricket, we'll say that. That's a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause it there, but it gives you a pretty cool idea of Chris's career. When Jessica Kobeissi graduated from communication design in 2012, she started a YouTube channel to create and share graphic design tutorials. What started as a way to vlog and teach others photo editing techniques grew into a YouTube following of over 1.7 million subscribers. Jessica now works as a fashion and portrait photographer who runs workshops across the US. And I like to point out that, you can see she graduated with a communication design degree, but she's utilizing her photography skills and her passion for photography very heavily in her career. So at CCS, you're acquiring this really transferable skill set. Tim Flattery, whose kind of bio and video I showed first, he graduated with a degree in transportation design, but he's working in the industry as a concept designer. So, the two don't necessarily align, but the skills you're acquiring are very transferable. And I like to mention that. I'm sure many, if not all of you, recognize this little guy, Yoda, of course, from The Empire Strikes Back. Crafts alum Wendy Froud began working as a sculptor and puppet maker for Jim Henson shortly after graduating in the 70s from CCS. So she is responsible for the fabrication of Yoda. This was before CG. He was an actual physical puppet. And if any of you are familiar with the movies Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, she created puppets for both of those films as well. She now lives in England. She actually has her very own castle, but she is an entrepreneur who is nationally acclaimed for these amazing fairy dolls that she creates, and they're highly sought after and collected. So if you're so interested, you can Google World of Froud and see the sort of work that she's doing in her career. And I'm just going to share one more example. Jason Mayden, during his 15-year career at Nike, he oversaw the design and execution of all conceptual products and innovations for the Jordan brand. As the senior global design director at Nike, he led and contributed to the creation of sport performance products for athletes and icons, such as Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan. But then he left to found his very own company, Super Heroic, which is an award-winning footwear brand specifically designed for kids. He's been featured on multiple most inspiring lists, including Fast Company's 100 Most Creative People in Business and Ebony Power 100. And fun fact, he's also the entity behind Jason Mayden Day, which occurs every year on March 17th in Austin, Texas, which is just kind of silly, but also fun little fact about him. So just know that there are so many more stories like these, and there truly are so many great opportunities for students enrolled in all of our majors here at CCS. I really like starting my presentation with some of these examples because I think it might open up your mind to the possibilities that are out there for you. And, perhaps if they might have been limiting, like, how do I get a career in art and design? Well, these are just some examples of the many, many ways in which you can. So now that I've shared that, I'll share a little more about CCS itself. Some of the things that set us apart are our size and setting, outstanding facilities, the breadth of our majors, sponsored studio projects, and I'll talk more about all of these, of course, and connections to creative industries, organizations, and entrepreneurs. We are a private, nonprofit, and fully accredited institution offering a Bachelor of Fine Arts in 11 visual arts majors, and I'll go over those momentarily, and a teacher certification in art education. We also offer graduate degrees as well. But we were born in 1906 as the Society of Arts and Crafts, and this was a community art center that began largely as a counter response to all the mass production and industrialization going on within the city of Detroit. There was just this need for craft and, the slowing down of things and individual items. We began offering degrees in the mid-70s, but we've been teaching art and design for over 100 years. In addition to our BFA degrees, we have 20 minors and 9 emphases, including entrepreneurial studies. So if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur like Wendy Froud, or even just maintain your own studio practice once you graduate, entrepreneurial studies might really benefit you to look into. We also offer a Master of Fine Arts degrees in 4 programs. These include color and materials, interaction design, systems design thinking, and transportation design. We have a diverse student body with a student faculty ratio of 9:1, with class sizes not exceeding 21. So we don't do large lecture classes here. And this is a big difference between us and a state school or university program. In addition to attracting a diverse student body, we strive to make our campus an equitable, welcoming, and inclusive environment for everyone. And that's very important to us. In the US alone, there are nearly 700,000 art-centric businesses that employ millions of people. Artists and designers, in fact, make up more than 2 million of those workers. My slide will go. CCS was named one of the top 3 design schools in the US by LinkedIn, and this is significant because it's based on data LinkedIn has access to about our alumni, where they graduated from, and their current positions working in their field. And our alumni have careers at companies where they want to work. Our alumni network is very strong, and our excellent internship and recruitment events are a testament to that. The internship program at CCS allows qualified students to earn academic credit while gaining firsthand experience in their chosen fields. So not only do these students work alongside industry professionals in a real-world setting, but they're also earning academic credit, they're making money, they're gaining confidence in their ability, and begin building professional networks. Here's a sample. went ahead too fast. Here's a sample of some of the employers that have participated in this internship program. And it's not even entirely conclusive. We've had more companies than what's listed here participate in the program. So our Career Services Department is committed to helping our students as well as our alumni connect to organizations and companies they want to work with. They plan numerous recruiting events throughout the year, and this applies to all of our major departments. They'll work with students to develop their resume and polish their interview skills. If students need help job searching or internship searching, they are there as a resource for them. And then I mentioned sponsored studio projects a little while ago, and this is another way we connect our students to job opportunities. These sponsored studio projects connect students to professional designers on campus, where the students are given the chance to create a solution for a company's design problem. So this is real world experience with professional expectations, deadlines, and presentation skills, all taking place within a classroom with a faculty member who supports and mentors the students through the project. Each semester, we have between 5 and 15 sponsored studio projects. And these aren't just for our design-based majors. We've had our fine arts students design this massive sculpture that won a contest and is in Little Caesars Arena. So that's pretty cool too. And you can see images of that online. But don't just take it from me, listen to what one of our current students has to say.
When I create something, when I make a handbag, when I make a pair of shoes, I want that to feel like a piece of me. I want to walk down the street and have people notice this item and the detail and all the aspects of it. To me, it's important to, show your personality through what you're wearing. That's what I've always thought. So fashion to me is a representation of who you are. When somebody's wearing a piece that I've designed, I want them to feel confident that they're wearing a piece made by Amina, and I want them to feel proud and to show it off and to feel beautiful.
Okay, so a bit more about our campus. The CCS campus is made up of 2 sites, the Walter and Josephine Ford site and the A. Alfred Taubman Center for Design. They're just a mile or so apart and accessible 24/7 via our campus shuttles. The Walter and Josephine Ford site houses our art education program, our art practice major, which was formerly fine arts, our craft and material studies major, entertainment arts, all of your foundational courses, our illustration major, all of your liberal arts courses, and our photography major. The Taubman site, and that's the site just a mile or so north, houses all of our design-based majors as well as our graduate programs. And our internationally acclaimed faculty and state-of-the-art facilities provide students with the knowledge, skills, technology, and hands-on experience they need to explore, make, grow, and succeed. And here you can see examples of the different spaces. So this is largely our crafts department, and you can see we actually have a facility for glass. We're one of the few colleges in the country to offer that as a major. Here are primarily entertainment arts based studio and facility spaces. And this here is our audio visual center. So you can check out any sort of equipment you could imagine. So you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money. We have state of the art, pretty much everything for you to rent. All right, so housing, our Taubman site, which are these top images here, offer high ceiling loft style furnished rooms with 1 private bath. Each room is approximately 500 square feet and accommodates 3 to 4 people. And then located at our Walter and Josephine Ford site, the Art Center building, which are these images here, offers suite style accommodations for 2, 4, and 6 people. And as you can see, includes a living room, dining room, and full kitchen. There are 2 different dining facilities for our students to enjoy. And we also provide extensive vending services with customizable meal options provided 24 hours a day on both campus sites. We also have an on-campus bookstore where students can shop for supplies in person or online even. And we have actually quite extensive selection of art supplies for students too. So you don't have to necessarily order those online, and they're priced very comparably to what you would even spend online. So that is kind of CCS in a nutshell, but I'm going to now dive into the majors. And as I mentioned, we have 11 of them, so it's quite a lot. I'll be going through them rather quickly. I'm still trying to give you a general overview of the major, but of course, if you have follow-up questions after today, please feel free to reach out to me. And of course, our website is a great resource that you can refer to. First is advertising design. And typically, if you study advertising design, you'll get a job as an art or creative director. And art directors are the idea people behind the brands we interact with every day. So they're using a combination of marketing research, consumer insights, creative writing, storytelling, and an arsenal of creative skills to produce visuals and content. And this includes everything from digital and social media content, user experience and apps, events and guerrilla tactics, print advertising, TV commercials, viral videos. So if you're someone who has a lot of varied interests, you really like photography, maybe you don't want to admit it, but you really love social media, maybe film has always kind of interested you. If this describes you, advertising is a major you should definitely consider. We recently changed the name of this major from Fine Art in an effort to make our curriculum more inclusive of many cultural histories and truly supportive of a diverse body of students. So if you're one of those people who is passionate about expressing your personal vision and creating conceptual artwork, then the art practice department would be a good fit for you because there's a lot of room for experimentation in this program, and you'll have access to painting, an extensive printmaking studio, book and letterpress shop. We have a newly expanded sculpture studio. And then, as I mentioned, any tech equipment. So if you have a video installation, you might need to rent some equipment. Or if you created this, amazing sculpture and you need a really high quality photograph of it, you could rent a camera. So that is practice in a nutshell. And I will note here that in the yellow box on each slide, you can see some careers you might have with one of these degrees. Communication design, formerly known as graphic design, is not just about designing logos or print materials anymore. And so this is why we changed the name of this department to reflect the many ways in which designers are now working within the industry. And while we focus on brand identity development, typography, and strong visual design, our students are also creating websites and creating user experiences through apps and other digital interfaces to communicate a brand. And though, as I just mentioned, you'll be making a website, coding is not heavily emphasized in this department. Our students are designers, and that is what they are doing first and foremost. There will be a little smattering of coding, but it's very much design heavy. All right, and then these next 5 slides are all housed within our craft and material studies department. So to kick things off, I will share this short video of Ebby, who is section head of our ceramics department.
You can give a child a ball of clay and they can immediately start making something, or you can give a potter or a sculptor a pound of clay, and there's the possibilities around what you can do with the material are so broad and so dynamic. You can work additively with it, you can work subtractively with it. So it's really that dynamism that draws me. You can be like a studio potter, firing things in your backyard, or you can be a product designer making tableware, for a big company. For me, there's this really rich intimacy, the engagement that we have as human beings with clay. Taking clay home, making a mess of my dining room table, the things that I was exploring and the ways in which I was able to build and create in clay, I wanted this time and this season of my life to be invested in doing that.
So ceramics at CCS offers a fantastic facility for students to do handmade, wheel thrown like Ebby was doing, or molded pieces. We have 6 different types of kilns ranging from electric to wood and salt fire. Most undergrad programs don't have such a wide variety of kiln options. Our students learn to mix their own glazes, and craft students often create pieces that incorporate both sculptural as well as functional elements. The Fiber and Textiles program is influenced by art, design, craft, and technology. Our students sew, they dye, weave, screen print, embellish, felt, quilt, construct, knit, crochet, laser cut, really anything you can conjure up in your mind that has to do with fiber or textile, our students do it. They're encouraged to discover new ways of working with materials through experimentation. And many of our graduates go on to work as textile designers or color and material designers for large corporations or small studios. Some create artisanal craft objects or fine art, so quite wide-ranging. Furniture is interdisciplinary in nature, and students experiment with multiple mediums and often combine them to make stunning furniture. And while many of the works created by students are one of a kind, our required professional practice course supports their path to creating a sustainable and successful career, whether they're working independently, as freelance for a large furniture design company, or even with architects. In glass, you'll learn the technical aspects of blowing, casting, and fusing glass, while problem solving, innovating, and developing conceptual ideas with glass. From unique one-of-a-kinds to the production of multiples, glass artists and designers are employed by architects and also work as independent artists. Students in our metalsmithing and jewelry section can work in the foundry, metal shop, or our jewelry studio, creating any scale of metalwork. So this includes small pieces of jewelry to larger than life sculptures. And as a student, you would have access to things like shop bots, laser cutters, 3D printers, and 3D cut carving machines. So next is entertainment arts, and much like crafts, there are multiple areas of emphasis within this department. So first is animation, and these students work with traditional techniques like stop motion and 2D animation, as well as flash and digital animation and 3D modeling. So you'll learn all the processes you see in this reel here, but if you have a particular interest like stop motion, you can focus on that as well. There are only a few colleges in the world that educate and prepare students to become concept designers, and that's what Tim Flattery is working at in his career. And they're the people who bring stories to life, envisioning every design element from props and scenery to costumes and characters. They're helping design everything an audience visually experiences in live action movies or games. And this is not to be confused with visual development, which is another amazing career in the entertainment arts. But concept designers would be more likely to work on a live action Marvel movie or new Halo video game rather than a character for an animated Disney movie. That path is better pursued in our illustration department. So I like to mention that because sometimes there's a little bit of gray area and students are confused about which path would better suit them. Digital film, also in our entertainment arts department, is all about storytelling using live action. Students learn all aspects of production, including directing, editing, script writing, and storyboarding. And it's a very collaborative department. So you might be working on your film as a director, but helping to edit or assist for another. You'll learn to work in different styles, such as narrative, experimental, and documentary. Our game program is not coding. We don't teach that, but it's very much about the design, imagining, and creating of characters and environments for video games, because these are the key parts of story. So as a student, you'll spend a lot of time perfecting your digital 3D modeling skills, but like the images you see here, you'll continue to develop very strong drawing skills. And each year, 3 to 4 fully functional games come out of this department. Right, next is fashion accessories design. Students in this department create one-of-a-kind fashion footwear that can be mass-produced. They create handbags, soft leather goods, belts, and accessories hardware for this $51 billion industry. And we know this industry is in dire need of designers who can also manage and produce what they design for market, because the program was developed with industry insiders. Our program is the first and only of its kind in the Midwest, and the only program to allow students to work in these 4 areas. Interestingly enough, other programs don't include footwear. Illustration students learn to master traditional materials like drawing and watercolor, acrylic and oil painting, while also becoming masterful at incorporating digital tools and techniques into their work and process. These next few images are examples of how an illustrator can work in the entertainment industry. Currently, we're noticing that a lot of students are interested in both illustration and entertainment arts. Animation. But the biggest difference between those 2 departments is that illustrators do the 2D version of a character and then pass it off to an animator or 3D modeler to make it come to life. So if you're interested in concept art, comic books, graphic novels, painting, illustration is definitely the department for you. If you're more interested in making a character or environment move and come alive, entertainment arts, specifically animation, I would say, would likely be a better fit. Interior design can be defined as the design of a space that intentionally affects how the people, light, and sound move, use, and experience the space. Interior designers consider what human activities and social practices take place within a given space, and they account for and affect our interactions every day. We're proud to say that our department earned one of the highest ever marks in its accreditation review from the CIDA, which is the accrediting body for interior designers. And this is super important to know when you're considering and choosing an interior design program, because believe it or not, there are a lot of them out there that are not certified. So students in this department are designing floor plans, they're drawing elevations, and they're learning to create 3D models of the spaces they design using industry standard software. So they are more than ready to work in their field the moment they graduate. Our photography program focuses on mastery of traditional processes, shooting film, and processing everything in the darkroom, as well as lighting, printing, and digital tools and techniques. And there's a lot of room for variety, like fashion, photojournalism, fine art, and commercial studio work. As a student, you get a wide breadth of experience in our program so that you're able to choose which path of the industry you want to work in. And our program is always looking ahead to provide skills for students graduating 4 years from now, because that's where the industry will be when you graduate. Product design is a department where students are working on a very wide variety of design applications. They're sketching their ideas, they're making digital renderings, and then finally, they're creating physical models. Typically, students are coming up with new designs to help improve the way we live or improve everyday consumer objects. So we're not as interested in designing a new chair as we are in proposing a better way of sitting. Excuse me, sorry. If you like to invent things, work with your hands, have big ideas of how things should work, or if you want to make something that improves the way you live, product design might be right up your alley. Students are designing surgical equipment, watches, bikes, gym shoes, phones, refrigerators, really anything that makes your life easier or more efficient. And so I like to say this as well, if you're kind of engineering minded, but you're super creative, product design might be a perfect fit for you. And then lastly, of our studio majors is transportation design, which is the major we've been teaching the longest and perhaps we're best known for. I'm going to kind of shake things up again, I guess, with another video. This is our department chair, Paul Snyder, talking about the program. And I like to share this video because he offers a really nice overview of the department.
We design all things that move. It's products that go. Everything from a scooter to a semi-tractor trailer. This is a field where you could have an absolutely wonderful career in a major OEM anywhere on the planet. And our graduates are in the ranks and the leadership of all those places. But if you want to team up with a startup, that's also great too, because what we offer students is the expertise to know how to put a vehicle together, how to package for real people, to make the world a better place, and to enhance people's experience of transportation. Well, CCS itself, just by virtue of its geographic location, is right in the Motor City. We've had that huge advantage to be working very closely with the industry. We do sponsored projects with the industry on a regular basis. In the last 3, 4, 5 years, the whole influx of the Internet of Things, of technology that's going to enable autonomous vehicles, it really makes the possibilities for the future fascinating to me and really exciting. The opportunities are so broad-ranging. It's a real rush for me to be around young people right out of high school, and sometimes, you know, they're even on their second degree. But one thing that keeps them all sort of pushing is the fact that they're so passionate. Not just about, you know, muscle cars and sports cars, but passionate about transportation and the capacity of transportation to really mold a fascinating future. That's the cool thing about it. That's what I love.
Quick things I'll mention before I move on is that you will be taking foundational drawing and digital courses your first couple of semesters here at CCS to really set you up for success during your 4 years here. So even if you're planning to major in photography, you'll still be taking a foundation drawing course. It'll be geared towards you as a non-drawing major, but it still is going to give you sort of skills needed to succeed during your time here. And then also worth mentioning is that we do want you to be a well-rounded student. So you are taking liberal arts courses as well as your studio arts courses. About a third of your curriculum is comprised of these liberal arts courses. If you've taken any AP or IB tests, we will consider that for credit. And so that would result in fewer liberal arts courses you would need to take, but that's a general sort of ratio. All right, so for the admissions process, it's very easy to apply. We just ask for 3 things from you. The first is our free online application form. The second piece is your high school transcript, and an unofficial copy is fine. And the third piece is your 8 to 12 piece portfolio, which you will upload through SlideRoom. And we have specific requirements for the portfolio. If you're choosing a drawing-based major, such as illustration, transportation design, animation, or game, we ask that you include at least 5 drawings. But anything else can be literally anything at all. And we just basically want to see your strongest work and whatever represents you and your artistic voice. So it can be in any medium, doesn't have to be a theme or be cohesive, just whatever you feel represents your strongest work. And all of us here in the admissions office is very happy to give feedback on any work you're considering submitting if you're unsure or just need a little more guidance. So these are some important deadlines to keep in mind. If you can believe it, December 1st is less than a month away. That is our early action deadline, so it is not binding. And by applying by December 1st, you'll automatically be considered for our highest scholarships. February 1st is our priority deadline, so we do still have generous scholarships available. And after that, it's rolling admissions, with May 1st being National Decision Day. So hopefully you'll know by then where you are planning to attend. So I know I'm getting kind of close to the end of my time here, and I'm just going to stop my share and see if there are any questions. I don't believe there are. Let me just pull up the Q&A. So no questions. So that about wraps it up for me. I know it was a lot of information, and thank you all for tuning in today, and Isabella for coordinating. If you do have any questions at all, you can feel free to email me or email our admissions department, and they will connect you with me. So thanks so much for your time.
Awesome. Yeah. And thank you so much for your time as well. A huge thank you. It was really interesting to learn a little bit more about the College for Creative Studies. So I really appreciate that. But a big thank you to all of you for joining as well. We hope that you found the information shared helpful. Note that you will see a very quick 4-question survey as soon as this session ends. And so if you don't mind taking a second to fill that out, it's really helpful for us to get a little bit of feedback on these sessions as we continue to plan. A reminder that there are additional sessions coming up in the coming days, and that this session was recorded, and that you'll be able to access both those additional sessions and the recording at www.oacac.org as early as tomorrow, but for the additional sessions, even right now. So a big thank you once again for joining, and a big thank you once again to our wonderful college representative for sharing a little bit more as well. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.
Thank you.